A strange silence covered Earth's orbit. No one said it, but everyone felt it. Something was coming. It began with a signal, not a human one. It echoed across deep space, picked up by observatories in Alaska, Japan, and South Africa. The signal wasn't coded, it was clear. A message from the stars. We are the Galactic Council. Earth, you will surrender peacefully, or face consequences. The message repeated every hour. For 3 days, at first, people didn't believe it. News channels called it a hoax. Social media exploded. Memes, jokes, panic. Then the world saw the truth. The sky showed it. On the 4th day, the first alien ship appeared behind the moon. It was massive, dark like a shadow, shaped like a spinning blade. Then another came. Then another. Until there were dozens, hundreds, surrounding Earth from all sides. The world held its breath. Every major power, the US, China, the coalition of Europes and drones and probes, they were all blocked, jammed, or simply vanished. The aliens said nothing else. They waited. In secret military bunkers, generals sat in silence. Presidents and prime ministers demanded answers from scientists. Can we defend ourselves? But no one knew. Earth had never faced this kind of threat. Still, something strange happened. The panic didn't last long. People began to go back to work. Students returned to school. Markets opened. A calm spread not from bravery but from something deeper, a quiet confidence. Far above, in orbit near Mars, there was a station. It had no name, no registration. It wasn't built by any country. It didn't send signals, but it was very real. Inside, a small group of humans watched the alien fleet. One of them, an older woman with silver eyes, sipped tea as the council's ships formed into attack groups. They think they're the first, she said calmly. Another man, tall, silent, leaned over a control screen. They're showing force. Standard intimidation pattern, probably used to winning this way. The woman smiled. Yes, but Earth isn't what they think. On the alien ships, the commanders watched Earth through giant screens. They expected missile launches, nuclear blasts, radio waves. Panicked, but nothing came. The fleet's commander, a being called Veiltok, tapped one of his advisors with a sharp claw. Are they hiding, or are they broken? The advisor looked nervous. Their systems show no defense network, but also no fear. It's strange. Veiltok's eyes narrowed. Then we must show them. Back on Earth, the skies were quiet, but cameras pointed upward. People watched on giant screens, on rooftops, in deserts, in villages. Everyone stared at the alien ships above. There were no weapons, no armies, just floating giants casting shadows over cities. And still, Earth smiled. Some humans laughed, not cruelly, not with pride, but with understanding. Like they had seen this before, like they knew how it would end. One boy in Nairobi looked up with a telescope and whispered, "They don't know who they're dealing with." In a high mountain base in South America, a human technician pressed a single button. Nothing happened on Earth, but deep in space, something began to move, far beyond Pluto's orbit. Hidden from every alien eye, a shape drifted. It wasn't large, not glowing, not fast, just waiting. The humans had not spoken. They had not fired, but something had changed. The galaxy had sent warships to scare Earth. And Earth was just getting started. And somewhere, someone was smiling. The alien fleet adjusted its position slowly, as if waiting for Earth to make the first move. Their ships glowed softly in low orbit, casting long shadows across oceans and continents. They weren't hiding. They wanted to be seen. And Earth saw them. But no missiles launched. No defense satellites activated. No world leaders made statements. There were no warnings, no threats, no cries for peace. Just silence. It made the fleet uneasy. From inside the lead ship, a large oval-shaped vessel covered in golden panels. Commander Veiltok narrowed his eyes. The silence wasn't weakness. It was something else. Something unreadable. This is not the usual reaction, he said to his team. Other planets send diplomats, surrender signals, or fight back. Earth does none. They're too quiet. His second-in-command replied. To come across Earth. Cities kept moving. Subways ran. People walked to work. Children played. The world didn't look afraid. It looked normal. On the orbital space station near Mars, the same quiet group of humans observed everything. They're confused, said the man in the gray coat, adjusting a thin headset. They expected fear. The older woman from before leaned back in her seat, and we gave them something they don't understand. Behind her, giant displays showed every ship in the alien fleet. Each was marked and tagged in real time. Their energy levels, their weapon status, their movement patterns, everything. One human spoke softly. They've locked their primary weapons, preparing a low-impact atmospheric display. They're trying to scare us. Another said. The woman nodded. Let them try. Back on the alien command ship, Veiltok raised a hand. Release the visual, he ordered. Seconds later, 3 alien ships broke formation. Their engines glowed a deep orange as they moved toward Earth's upper atmosphere. The ships released a burst of energy, not a weapon, just a warning. A light show. Across the sky, Brilliant flashes, low rumbles that could be heard on the ground. The message was clear. We are above you, and we are ready. The light display danced across the sky like artificial auroras. On Earth, people watched. Some recorded it, some clapped, some even cheered. No one ran, no one panicked, and that made the aliens even more unsure. One Terran child pointed up and said, "It's pretty." On the alien ship, sensors picked up no change in Earth's behavior, still no military action, still no panic. Then something unexpected happened. A single Terran ship lifted from the ocean, not from a Navy base, not from a spaceport, just from the sea. It was small, silver, quiet, no noise, no heat, no engines visible. It floated upward slowly, peacefully, rising through the clouds. Alien ships tracked it immediately. Unknown craft detected, one officer said. No known engine. Type no energy readings. Veltok frowned. Is it a threat? Impossible to say. The small ship reached orbit and stopped. No weapons, no shields, no communication. Then in an instant it vanished, not exploded, not cloaked, gone. The entire command room fell silent. Where did it go? Someone asked. No answer came. The humans on the Mars station saw it too. She's awake. The woman whispered. Only one ship, said the man in the gray coat. Just enough. The woman smiled. It's never about the number. It's about the message. Back on Earth, the people kept watching the sky.com, curious, confident. The aliens had arrived with their mighty ships and glowing lights to show their power. But now they saw something they hadn't expected. Earth was not reacting the way other planets did, and that made the Galactic Council nervous, because in deep space diplomacy, fear is predictable, but a smile, that's dangerous. A strange tension grew in orbit. The galactic fleet hovered like a storm that refused to break. Hundreds of alien vessels held position around Earth, blinking with quiet lights, watching, waiting. Confused. Commander Veltok stood at the edge of the control deck. His claws tapped slowly on the metal railing, a rhythm of growing doubt. His fleet had surrounded planets before. The signs were always the same: fear, surrender, or resistance. But Earth gave none of those. Instead, Earth gave them stillness. The mysterious ship that had risen from the sea and disappeared without a trace now lived in the minds of every council officer. It hadn't attacked, it hadn't spoken, it had simply appeared then vanished. No energy spike, no known technology. It was as if reality itself had bent around it. The science team tried to explain it, but the data made no sense. One moment the ship was rising, the next, it wasn't anywhere. It's not cloaking, a technician said, nervously scanning. It's like it stepped out of this dimension. Veltok didn't like the sound of that. They are primitive, he said slowly. They should not have ships like that. They should not have technology we do not understand. They're not acting like primitives, his advisor replied. They're acting like observers. Veltok turned sharply. Observers? Yes, the advisor said, pointing to Earth. They're watching us, not reacting, just watching. Across the ocean, cameras captured the alien display and uploaded it to networks. News anchors speculated, but no one called for war. Instead, the question everyone asked was simple. Why aren't they doing anything? In a small village in India, an old man sat under a tree and watched the sky. He smiled and said to no one in particular, "They came loud, but Earth is quiet. That is not weakness. That is patience." In the hidden observation station near Mars, the woman in silver glasses stood in front of a screen. She pressed a button, and new information appeared: images, charts, maps, signals. "They are beginning to worry," she said. The younger technician nodded. "One of their subfleets has changed position. Defensive pattern. They expected reaction," she continued. "But Earth gave them study. They expected fear. Earth gave them stillness." She looked toward a dark screen. It showed nothing but static. "They don't realize," she whispered. "They are the ones being tested now." Meanwhile, the alien fleet increased scans of Earth's surface, but the scans gave confusing results. Deep layers of Earth's oceans were unreadable. Mountain ranges showed strange magnetic fields. In certain cities, time signals flickered strangely. None of it fit known patterns. "This planet is layered," one alien said. "There are levels beneath the surface." "Technology?" asked another. "Possibly, or something else." The galactic fleet, proud and powerful, began to feel small. They came to make Earth nervous. Instead, Earth was making them unsure of reality. One scout ship requested permission to enter the upper atmosphere for closer inspection. Veltok gave the order carefully. No weapons. The scout ship drifted down, passing through soft clouds. The crew looked below. Cities glowed with lights. Fields stretched across continents. Oceans reflected stars. Everything looked normal, ordinary. Until the moment the crew noticed something odd. For exactly 3 seconds, all screens inside the scout ship turned black. Every sensor went dark. No alarms, no signals, no explanation. Then, everything returned to normal. The crew checked instruments. Everything seemed fine, except one thing had changed. The time. They had lost exactly 3 seconds of memory. None of them remembered anything from that time gap. When the scout ship returned to orbit, the fleet's computers flagged it with a new warning. Unknown temporal distortion detected. Veiltalk's eyes narrowed. That's not primitive. It gets worse, another officer said. Showing the latest footage from Earth, it was a video broadcast from Earth's internet, captured by the fleet's observers. The video showed humans laughing, not mocking, not panicking, just laughing and smiling. Watching the alien ships in the sky like they were part of a light show, one caption read, "Welcome to Earth. Hope they packed snacks." Veiltalk watched in silence. No weapons, no diplomacy, no surrender, only a ship that vanished, a planet that waited, and a population that smiled. He turned to his advisors. "What kind of species are we dealing with?" No one answered, but one quiet voice, deep in the corner of the room, whispered something barely heard. "Maybe not the kind we should have tested." The galactic fleet hovered silently above Earth, like a shadow frozen in the sky. Their ships had circled the planet for days now, expecting fear, surrender, or at least some kind of response. But none came. Instead, Earth gave them something far more unsettling: silence. And silence makes loud minds grow louder. Inside the lead council vessel, Commander Veiltalk stared at a holographic map of Earth. It pulsed gently, showing every city, every light, every strange unreadable signal from the oceans below. Something didn't add up. The planet was alive, but it wasn't reacting. Behind him, his officers whispered theories. Maybe they don't understand what's happening. Maybe they're too primitive to respond. Or maybe, one said, quietly, they already know how this ends. Veiltalk didn't like that last idea. Not at all. He walked to the viewing window. Earth turned below, beautiful and calm, wrapped in a soft blue glow. But now, even beauty felt dangerous. On the third day, Earth changed the rules. No messages, no warheads, just presence. A second Terran ship appeared, not from spaceports or launch bays but from a canyon in South America. It shimmered, made no noise, and hovered in place for a moment before rising into orbit. Again, no energy readings, no heat, no clear propulsion. The alien sensors struggled to lock onto it. Then it vanished like the first one. No trail, no clue, only confusion. That was when the first internal malfunctions began. Council ships started experiencing flickers in their communication lines, small errors, data loops, artificial intelligence stutters. The systems weren't damaged, they were just unsure, like the ships themselves were. Doubting reality. Is this a coordinated attack? One engineer asked. No, another whispered. It's like something is observing us. In the hidden orbital station near Mars, the woman with silver glasses watched through thousands of sensor feeds. Each alien vessel was being recorded, analyzed, and tagged, not for destruction, for understanding. She didn't speak to her team. She didn't give commands. She just listened. And as she listened, she smiled. They think they're waiting on Earth, she said softly, but Earth has been watching them since the moment they arrived. One of the human analysts turned to her. Should we respond? The woman shook her head. No, not yet. They haven't seen enough. In the galactic fleet, ships began receiving strange anomalies. Each vessel's main screen briefly showed a new message just for a moment, almost like a glitch. One word, seen. It disappeared before anyone could capture it, but the officers who saw it couldn't forget it. Was it a message from Earth? No. There was no signal, no frequency. It just appeared. Veiltalk's heart sank deeper. This wasn't a war. This wasn't even a threat. This was something worse. This was a test. The council gathered quickly, forming a remote meeting across ships. Earth is not reacting with fear, one commander said. They are doing something else, something we don't understand. They are unshielded, unarmed, but still, they are in control. Then what do we do? Veiltalk asked. For a long moment, no one answered, until a single council elder, one who had seen a Terran ship once, long ago, spoke up. Earth has been silent for a long time, not because they were weak, but because they chose silence. The elder looked around the room, and now that they've noticed us, we are the ones being studied. Back on Earth, something subtle changed. The clouds above major alien ships began to shift unnaturally. Not wind, not weather. Patterns. Circular movements. Light spirals. Geometric shapes forming in the sky. People on the ground looked up and pointed. It was beautiful, strange, hypnotic. The skies above Earth had become a canvas and something unseen was painting on it. The aliens scanned again. Still no source, still no energy readings. Still nothing they could explain. One commander stared at the live feed from Earth and whispered, "This is not defense. This is demonstration." The council tried to respond, but then, across every ship, every screen went dark for exactly 5 seconds. Black. No lights. No sound. Just darkness. When the systems returned, nothing was lost. No damage. No data breach. But now, on every ship's screen, a soft pulse was visible. Just one word, observed, beneath it. Coordinates pointing not to Earth, but somewhere beyond Mars. To the hidden station. To the Watchers. Commander Veiltalk finally spoke, his voice slow and heavy. They didn't just see us. They let us arrive. He looked out the window once more. Earth remained silent, but now the silence wasn't calm. It was warning, asterisk. Inside the galactic fleet, silence was no longer peaceful, it had become a weight. Every ship, every officer, every screen was waiting for something, but no one knew what. They had come to Earth expecting to deliver a message of power. Instead, Earth was sending a message of its own without a single word. And now, that message was becoming impossible to ignore. On the lead council ship, Commander Valtok paced slowly, eyes fixed on the latest scans. His engineers had confirmed the impossible. The word observed had appeared across every vessel's systems at the same moment, without signal, without intrusion, no virus, no hack, no beam. Just appeared, and the coordinates it pointed to, still silent, still hidden. No alien ship had ever traveled beyond those exact points without receiving strange feedback readings that bent known laws of energy. Some called it interference, others, something more. Valtok turned to his team. We must understand what we're dealing with. In the shadows of the room, a data officer raised his voice carefully. There's a classified report. From long ago, it mentioned Earth. The room turned. It was sealed, forgotten, but I accessed it when the messages began. He pulled up an old file, encrypted with layers of council clearance. It was dusty, broken in places, but real. The report was from over 500 Earth years ago. A scout vessel, small and fast, had passed through Earth's system. No contact was made, but something happened. It vanished from the council's logs, not destroyed. Not erased. Just lost. No traces of debris. No record of return. Only one short message had been recovered from its final report. Earth is not what it appears to be. Valtok read it twice, then a third time. What do you mean? He asked. The data officer shrugged. We don't know. That was all that survived. Across the fleet, whispers spread. Earth hadn't been forgotten by the galaxy. It had been avoided. On the hidden human station near Mars, the silver-glassed woman stood in front of a large screen, arms crossed. Around her, soft hums of unknown machines pulsed in rhythm. They've found the old logs, one technician said. She nodded. Good, let them remember. The man beside her tilted his head. Why let them come so close? Why not stop them? Earlier she didn't look away from the screen, because now they see. Back on Earth, the skies remained calm, but strange patterns appeared in oceans. Satellite images showed formation circles, symbols, glowing shapes deep underwater. The alien sensors tried to scan them, but failed. Light twisted strangely. Signals were bent, as if the water itself refused to give up its secrets. On social media, humans posted images with captions like, Earth's response, beautiful silence, who's watching who? Maybe we're not the small ones. In classrooms and offices, people looked up with curiosity, not fear. In temples and forests, elders closed their eyes and whispered old stories. Stories of distant stars, stories of return. In the galactic fleet, new anomalies appeared. Time delays between ships, glitches in memory. Officers reported missing minutes, short gaps in time where nothing could be remembered. Medical checks showed no damage, no explanation. It was happening across the entire fleet. Some began to panic, others to question. We came to deliver a warning, Valtok said quietly, and now we can't even trust our own memory. In that moment, a soft sound echoed across every ship. It wasn't language, it wasn't machine, it was music. A slow, calm melody, gentle, strange, familiar, not coming from space, not from Earth, but from inside their systems. Just for notes. Repeating. The same pattern, the same sound over and over. Some aliens stood still, confused. Others closed their eyes, suddenly reminded of memories they couldn't explain, feelings they couldn't describe. What is it? Someone whispered. No one knew. But on the human station, the woman smiled again. They're hearing the song now. The technician nodded. Will they understand it? Not yet, she replied. But they're beginning to feel it. Valtok's voice cracked as he looked at his officers. We need to leave. Now. But his navigation officer turned pale. Commander, we're not in control. What? The officer showed the data. Their ships were still in orbit, but none of them were connected to navigation. They were floating without direction. Not trapped, not damaged. Just gently held by something invisible. One final message appeared on every screen. Not a threat, not a warning, just a statement. This is your answer. And below it, we smiled. Because you never understood the question. The Council had come to show Earth their strength, but Earth had simply shown them a mirror. And in that mirror, the galaxy saw something it didn't expect: its own fear. The stars above Earth shimmered quietly, like nothing had changed. The galactic fleet still floated in orbit, surrounding the blue planet like a crown of silent metal. Yet inside every Council ship, something had shifted. Panic wasn't spoken aloud, but it filled every corridor. Officers moved slower. Decisions were questioned. Screens were watched with widened eyes. The more Earth remained still, the more the fleet began to feel unstable. Commander Valtok sat alone in the command chamber, staring at the last message that had appeared across every ship. We smiled, because you never understood the question. Read it again and again, but the meaning only sank deeper, not clearer. The words weren't hostile. They weren't mocking, they were something else entirely. They were true, and that scared him more than any weapon could. In the hidden human station near Mars, the older woman stood beside the final switch. Around her, holographic maps faded out. Screens dimmed one by one, and the silent crew began to prepare for disconnection. "It's time," she said gently. The others nodded. Their part was done. They had shown Earth's answer not through force, not through battle, but through patience, understanding, and quiet presence. And now, Earth would go silent again, but not forgotten. Back on the lead council, Vessel knew. Readings flickered across the bridge. A ship was approaching, not fast, not aggressive, just moving calmly toward the fleet. But it wasn't from Earth. It was the ship from before. The first one that had risen from the sea and vanished. Now it had returned, no lights flashed, no weapons opened. It simply drifted slowly between the alien ships. Then, with no signal, no scan, and no sound, it stopped in the center of the fleet. For a moment, everything paused. Then softly, a message appeared, not in sound, not through transmission, but inside the minds of every being on every ship. Words, not spoken but understood. "You wanted us to see your strength, but we already saw it in ourselves. Now, you have seen us, not for what we show, but for what we hold. We do not return warnings. We return truth." The fleet trembled, not from impact, but realization. For so long, the galaxy had believed Earth was the young one, the loud one, the unpredictable one. But Earth had been watching, learning, waiting, and smiling, because humans had seen the same pattern again and again. Powerful empires coming close, speaking loudly, shining brightly, but all lights fade, and the ones who observe patiently remember everything one by one. Council ships began to power down their weapons, not by command but by choice. They couldn't explain why. It felt right. It felt necessary. Inside one ship, a young alien officer turned to his captain and asked quietly, "What should we tell the council?" The captain stared at Earth's glowing curve and said, "Tell them we found silence." And it answered back. As the small human vessel turned and gently drifted away, it left no trail, no thread, only a symbol, an old Earth image, sent without words, a smile not drawn, not digital, but real. It was the image of a human child looking up at the sky. Simple, innocent, hopeful. And suddenly, every officer on the council fleet realized that smile was never meant to threaten. It was meant to remind. The galaxy had come to Earth to show control. But Earth had already moved beyond it. Earth didn't need to speak loudly anymore. It didn't need to raise a hand, because now the galaxy understood. The quietest voices often carry the deepest truths, and sometimes the most powerful answer is a smile.